Hello everyone, my name is Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, I'm working with an Asus VivoBook 15, the M513 model. I'm going to take you on a teardown or disassembly tour, show you how to get inside, and many of the various components you can access and upgrade once you're in. So first thing, power down your computer through the start menu, make sure it's off and unplugged from your charger. We're then going to flip it over to access our bottom case screws. You have 10 screws on the bottom case. Once those are removed, you're going to take your small, flat, plastic pry tool, and it's generally best to start near the rear, near one of the two corners. You're going to pry the bottom case apart from the rest of the computer. Be careful not to put the pry tool too far in. You could damage some internal components. Keep it on the edge, go nice and slow but firm, and you'll be able to get that bottom case off. If you do get stuck going in one direction, leave it, go to the other side, and continue in the other direction. Once you get the bottom case off, this is what you're looking at for the inside of your computer. Now, as a general computer repair side note, whenever I'm working on a computer in my shop, it's sitting on an anti-static mat. Either that or an anti-static bracelet are great ideas to avoid damaging anything in your computer when you're working on it. If you would like any help with tools or supplies for your project, as well as any replacement or upgrade parts for this specific model, the M513, I will have a link above, also below in the description, and it will be a list of the tools and supplies I use, plus those replacement and upgrade parts. Now, before touching anything in a computer, it's always best to remove or at least unplug your battery. Computers are safest to work on when as little power as possible is running through them. Your battery is right down here near the bottom right of my screen. This is an 11.25 volt battery, 42 watt hour if you need help finding a replacement. But again, I will have a replacement option below in that link I told you about with all the replacement and upgrade parts for this computer. To unplug the battery, there's a small metal bar right here under the green arrow. You would slide that up towards the arrow. That will release this white clip, and then you can pull that straight up and off of the motherboard to unplug your battery. If you're looking to remove your battery, you do have to take off this metal bar here. As you can see, it's holding down the battery and the battery plug. So there's these 3 screws near the red arrows to take that metal bar up, and then these 2 last screws near the red arrows to unscrew the battery. The battery is also taped down to the fan near the blue arrow. You'll have to take that up, and then you'll be able to get your battery out. As a side note, if you're here because your computer is not turning on, it could be a bad battery. You may have to replace it, but keep in mind that most laptop computers should still turn on and function even with a bad battery as long as the power cord's plugged in. So if your computer's not turning on at all, it may be a different issue than just a bad battery. If you would like help troubleshooting that, I will have a video link above, also below in the description, and that will be the full tutorial I use in my shop to find out why a laptop's not turning on and how to fix it. As far as storage, this computer has 2 different storage locations. We'll discuss this one first. This is an M.2 port right here. This takes the long 2280 solid state drives, NVMe up to Gen 3. I will have all that information below in the description if you need it, but I will include a replacement and an upgrade solid state drive below in the description in that link I told you about with all the replacement and upgrade parts for this model computer. To get it out, to replace it, you would undo this single screw here, and then you can pull this solid state drive out of that port right there. Now, this port takes a max of 1 terabyte of storage space. So I will have a 500 gigabyte option if you're just looking to replace possibly a bad drive but not spend too much money. But I will also include a 1 terabyte solid state drive if you're looking to max out that location. The other storage location is down here. You may recognize this from older computers. This is a 2.5-inch SATA port right here, and it plugs into the motherboard right here. So in addition to buying the storage unit, you would have to buy the SATA connection with the ribbon cable that plugs into this port here. Below in the description, I will have a 1 terabyte solid state drive that you can put here. I will also have a smaller 500 gigabyte hard drive and a 1 terabyte hard drive. As a word of advice, the way that some people choose to operate their storage devices is they'll take a more expensive and faster solid state drive and they will install their operating system onto that so that it works quickly and their computer generally works very fast. As far as their other storage location, they will take a more cheap and slower but larger hard drive, and they will install that to this location and use that for their long-term storage, their files, their videos, their pictures, things like that. And that's generally seen as a good way to keep a lot of storage capacity while only using the faster, more expensive item for your operating system. If you would like a little more in-depth information on how hard drives and various kinds of solid-state drives are different from each other and how best to use them in different situations, I will have a video link below. It'll be an intro in how they're different from each other and when best to use them. Also, keep in mind that if you are installing a new drive into your computer, you most likely will need to install an operating system onto it afterwards. If you need help with that, I will have a video link above. It'll be a tutorial showing you how to install Windows 11 onto an Asus laptop. And if the drive you're replacing has gone bad, there is still a pretty good chance to recover the data on it if you would like. I will have more information about that below in the description as well. This motherboard has a single additional RAM port right here for upgraded RAM. Depending on what model you have, your motherboard comes pre-installed with 4 gigabytes or 8 gigabytes of RAM. And the maximum RAM capacity for this computer, I believe, is 24 gigabytes. So what that means is below in the description, in that link I told you about with all the replacement and upgrade parts for this model computer, I will have a 4 gigabyte RAM stick if you're looking to upgrade just a little. I will have a 8 gigabyte RAM stick if you're looking for a moderate upgrade. And I will also have a 16 gigabyte stick if you're looking to max out your RAM on this computer. The way that the RAM works, as you notice, there's a spring-loaded metal arm on either side here. To put the RAM stick in, you would put it into these two ports, and you notice there's a long section and a short section, so you can't put the RAM in upside down. It can only go in one way, the correct way. After you get it in that port, make sure it's nice and flat and flush. There'll be a gold part that should be nice and even across, and once it is, you press down in the center of the RAM stick, and then these metal arms will latch onto it and hold it in place. To get the RAM stick up, you would gently pry the metal arms away from each other, and the RAM stick will then pop up a little bit, and then you can take it out. Your Wi-Fi card is right here to the left of your fan. It's held down by a single screw, and your antenna wires snap into it here. Many of you may have a black piece of tape covering it like I do, but after removing that tape, you will see those two cords snap on to the Wi-Fi card. And again, they're just snaps, so they just snap directly up and off of the card. To get them back on, though, they do need to be at a perfect 90-degree angle to snap back on. And you are strong enough to damage them if they're not at the right angle and you try to force it. So just go slow and be careful. They could be a little pain in the butt if you're not used to it, but you will be able to get those snaps back on. I will have all the Wi-Fi card information below in the description if you are looking for help with a replacement, but I will also have a Wi-Fi card replacement option below in that list I told you about with all the replacement and upgrade parts for this model computer. I might also add that if you're having Wi-Fi issues in your computer, if you're not able to see any Wi-Fi options, and if you can't access those to find a Wi-Fi network, that's most likely not an issue with your Wi-Fi card. It's most likely a system driver issue. If that is what you're facing, I will have a video link below in the description. It will show you how to troubleshoot and resolve that issue if you're not able to access your Wi-Fi options. Your speakers are down here. You have this one near the right corner of my screen and this one toward the left corner of my screen. Now they're not actually screwed down. If you notice these yellow rubber washers over these posts for sound insulation, that's all that holds them down. So if you need to get these speakers up, you can just gently wiggle those right off of those posts. This right-hand speaker here does not plug into the motherboard itself. If you notice, these white and blue wires come through here. They're threaded through here just so, all the way to the left-hand speaker. And then this speaker plugs into the motherboard right there. So a couple words of caution. If you are looking to replace these speakers, do not pull on those wires. You could damage that plug. Just use these grips on either side. Use your fingernails or a pry tool to wiggle that plug out of that port. Also, note how these wires down here are run just so through this threading. If you do replace your speakers or have to take them up, make sure you pause this video if you have the exact same model, or if you don't, take a picture of yours, but you want to run these wires exactly as they're shown. Because if you don't, when you put your bottom case back on, those wires could pinch and be damaged. Also, about a speaker replacement, if you're here because you're having sound quality issues, if the sound is not consistent across different softwares or different programs, it may not be a speaker issue, it may be a system or a driver issue. I will have a video link below in the description, also above in the video, and it will show you a tutorial on how to make sure all your system drivers are updated so you can rule that out before coming in here to try a repair like this. Your fan is right here to the right of my screen. The heatsink comes between it and the vent, runs down here over your CPU. The CPU side is screwed down by these 4 screws, and the fan has these 2 screws left to take it out of the motherboard. It plugs into the motherboard right here. Now, if you're removing this fan to clean it, be very careful with this wire. It's very fragile, as fan wires are, and it can easily be damaged or pulled out of that plug. So just use your fingernails or a pry tool to take that wire out of that port there if you're looking to clean this out. So I don't know why you're here, if you're here to simply replace a broken fan, or if you're here because you're having perhaps some overheating issues and you're looking to clean everything out. Keep in mind, if you do take up this heatsink and you separate that thermal paste, you do need to reapply it. Once that thermal paste has been exposed to air, it doesn't do its job as well and needs to be reapplied. If you would like help with any of this, cleaning out your fan, reapplying thermal paste, I will have a link above. Also below in the description, it'll be a tutorial video showing you how to fix an overheating laptop. And it will show you how to clean out your fan, but more importantly, it will show you how to clean off all the old thermal paste because you don't want to put new paste on top of old paste. And it will show you how to put the right amount of paste down. If you don't put enough, it won't work properly, it won't facilitate heat transfer. If you put too much, it will lock heat in rather than, again, facilitating heat transfer out. So I'll have that video link below if you need it. If you're looking to get your touchpad out down here, you can see these 3 screws holding this assembly in. After taking those screws up, you'll be able to remove and replace this if needed. Keep in mind these ribbon cables, guys. See this tiny touchpad ribbon cable that plugs into the touchpad here and the motherboard here? Also, this keyboard ribbon cable and the other ribbon cables you may see in your computer, like this one to the USB board. The way these work, you want to be very careful when playing with these because they're very fragile. You see this black clip right there? That opens and shuts like a book cover. It opens from the bottom part near the ribbon cable, and the hinges are up here on top in the white port. The way you want to work these is take a small, very, very flat pry tool, slide it from this direction underneath the black clip and gently pop it up to release the ribbon cable. If you break that black clip, you're probably not going to be able to find a replacement, which means that that ribbon cable may never securely fasten down again. So that's why I caution you, be very careful maneuvering those clips. Other than that, your LCD cable is up here. It has a clear sticker on it that you need to gently peel up. Don't pull back too hard because you could damage that plug. And then you can slide this out of that port, again, very carefully because LCD cables are breakable. If you're looking to get at your LCD assembly, you would have to unplug the LCD cable, obviously, also your antenna wire that run through this hinge assembly, and then you would unscrew both hinge assemblies. That will get your LCD assembly off so that you can replace it. If you're looking to get into the LCD assembly itself to replace your LCD, which is usually cheaper than replacing the entire assembly, but keep in mind there is more chance of breaking things replacing an LCD. I will have a video tutorial below in the description. It'll be a general tutorial on how to replace an LCD. If that doesn't help you enough with your specific model to get in confidently and access your LCD, leave me a comment with your brand and model number and I'll try to help you out. But that's the end of this video, how to get inside the VivoBook 15 M513 and access many of your internal components.